Okay, now we will talk about some disorders that lead to central vestibular disorders. We already talked in detail about the disorders of the vestibular system, which are mainly peripheral vestibular disorders. So now we will talk about central vestibular disorders, which mainly involve the brainstem and some other central connections. So in this we will talk about vertebro-basilar insufficiency and Wallenberg syndrome. We will talk about the basilar migraine and cerebellar disease and multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, tumor, and vertigo. So vertebro-basilar insufficiency, as the name shows, vertebral basilar insufficiency. Insufficiency is the term mainly used when there is decreased supply of blood, and decreased supply of blood leads to different conditions like dizziness and shock and coma and all those conditions as a result of insufficiency. So common cause of central vertigo in patient above 50 years of age with transient decrease in cerebral blood flow. So if you see here, what's the cause mainly of insufficiency or decreased blood flow as the patient's age increases is mainly presence of plaque. These are the plaques present or blood clots. There is fatty deposits in the blood vessels, atherosclerosis, or there is sometimes arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis is the hardening of the vessels. Atherosclerosis is the deposition of fatty plaques in the blood vessel. All these changes occur as the patient ages, and this can lead to decrease in the blood supply. And when there is decrease in the blood supply, it leads to decreased supply of oxygen, and it leads to insufficiency, and it can cause different complications and problems. So one very common cause is formation of plaques with the aging, and sometimes these plaques form a thrombus, or the embolus is formed from the thrombus, and it can cause obstruction of the blood vessel. Here if you see, this is the blood clot that can cause obstruction and cause decreased blood flow. This is the carotid artery. Then we have the vertebral artery. This is the external carotid artery. Then we have internal carotid artery. All these blood vessels supply the brain, and insufficiency or vertebro-basilar insufficiency can lead to decrease in the cerebral blood flow, and this can lead to vertigo, where patients usually have episodic or transient episodes of dizziness or vertigo as there is blood supply comes back to normal. As a result of embolus, sometimes it leaves the place or it moves to the other structure, other part, and there is the restoration of the blood flow. So vertebro-basilar insufficiency. Then the other common condition that affects the central, that can cause central vestibular disorders is Wallenberg syndrome. Wallenberg syndrome is the thrombosis of posterior inferior cerebellar artery. Posterior inferior cerebellar. Cerebellum is the part in the brain that plays very important role in the balance. Problems in the cerebellum cause problem in the positioning and the balance of the patient. So this thrombosis of the posterior inferior cerebellar artery cuts off the blood supply to lateral medullary area. So it cuts off the blood supply to the medullary, it's the medulla oblongata. This medullary area is for medulla oblongata, which is the brain stem. Pons and medulla together makes up the brain stem. So if there is obstruction of posterior inferior cerebellar artery, it affects the medulla oblongata. And in this diagram, this is just explaining us that thrombosis. Usually thrombosis is the formation of blood clots in the legs. Here, as a result of the thrombosis, there is blood clot, and when the blood clots are formed, sometimes the piece from the thrombus is dislodges and form embolus, and this embolus then move and cause obstruction of the blood vessel or the artery. As a result of that obstruction of the blood vessel, then there is decreased supply of blood. So in this Wallenberg syndrome is the effect mainly affects the medulla oblongata, which is the part of the brain stem. Pons and medulla together form the brainstem. So in Wallenberg syndrome, medulla oblongata is affected. Then another is the basilar migraine. Migraine is the vascular syndrome producing recurrent headaches with symptom-free intervals. So migraine is a common condition. In this, mainly the blood vessels are involved. It's a very bad headaches, usually associated with nausea and vomiting also. So patients usually, when they have the episodes of migraine, usually they don't like any lights and they don't want any disturbance. They want to lie quietly in the room, and then it takes usually 2 to 3 days for the recoverance. So it is mainly due to it's a vascular syndrome. So blood vessels are involved, or and it affects it causes episodic or headaches and recurrent headaches, with sometimes other symptoms are present, sometimes no, but usually patients have very big symptom-free intervals. Usually every 2 to 3 months patient might have these episodes. Again, it's showing the occipital lobe, it's the back, and in the basilar is mainly it's the term used for the base of. Here you can see this is all the basal side of the brain. We have brain stem, then the cerebellum, and then the occipital lobe, which is present on the back of the head. So these are the areas mainly involved in the basilar migraine. Then the cerebellar disease. Cerebellum, as I mentioned before, also is the part of the brain. Here, this is the cerebellum. It is on the back side. This is the cerebellum. It's a very important structure of the brain that involves the balance. And cerebellum is associated with the balance. So any problem that affects the cerebellum, it can cause the ataxia or a problem in the movement and the balance. So cerebellum may be affected by hemorrhage, infarction, infection, or tumor. So all these different disorders, like hemorrhage is very common after head injuries. Infarctions are mainly, it's the death of the tissue. So infarction is mainly caused by the insufficiency of the blood supply. Then different infections and tumors can also affect the cerebellum. If you see the diagram, this is the normal brain. That's how the normal brain looks like, and this is the you can see very clearly these are the swollen cerebral swellings are present. So these are the as a result of injury, maybe there is hemorrhage, maybe after concussion there is swelling. So this is the swollen widespread cerebral swelling. So these are the two diagrams. So any problem that can cause cerebellar disease can cause the vertigo, dizziness, ataxia, problem in the balance. Next condition is the multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is a serious condition, and it's in this there is demyelinating disease affecting mainly the young adults. Multiple sclerosis is common in young age, young adults, and it's a demyelinating disease. If you see, this is the structure of the normal nerve. Here, this is the normal nerve. Nerve fibers are covered by the myelin sheath, and this myelin sheath protects the nerve fiber. In the multiple sclerosis, what happens? There is demyelination, so there is myelin sheath of the nerve is destroyed or damaged. As a result, what happens? The nerves become exposed. So nerve is exposed and the myelin sheath is destroyed, and this exposed nerve is now very, very sensitive to any stimulus, and as a result of this increased sensitivity, we have numbness, tingling, pain. All these are very, very common in cases of multiple sclerosis. So in multiple sclerosis, there is demyelination or there is damage of the myelin sheath. Myelin sheath is the covering of the nerve. When that myelin sheath is destroyed, the nerve is exposed to the different stimulation, and it causes numbness, tingling, and pain below the lesion. So if this is the lesion in the lower part of the spinal cord, then there is below the lesion there is tingling. Patient comes and they say we have tingling sensation and we have numbness and pain. Then there are tumors of brainstem and floor of the fourth ventricle. So if there is tumors like gliomas, astrocytomas, which arise from pons and midbrain, then we have medulloblastoma, ependymomas, epidermal cyst or teratomas, which may arise from the fourth ventricle. So all these tumors which arise from the brainstem and the fourth ventricle, they can also cause the central vestibular disorders. Here we have the pons and medulla together makes the brainstem, spinal cord. These are the ventricles of the brain, and in the ventricles there is flow of cerebrospinal fluid. So when the cerebrospinal fluid flow in the ventricles, if there is a tumor in these ventricles, there is increase in the pressure, and any increased pressure can cause vestibular disorders. So these are some tumors that affect brainstem and the fourth ventricle that can cause the central vestibular disorders. Then epilepsy. Epilepsy is the condition in which there is epilepsy is also known as seizures. There are seizures in this condition, and there is also vertigo. Vertigo may occur as an aura in temporal lobe epilepsy. Aura. What is an aura in epilepsy? Aura is a time in which patient has a feeling that the epilepsy or seizure is coming. So in this aura or in this time, they have the vertigo, dizziness, and the best thing in this aura to do is if the patient is standing or doing something, they should sit down. It's an alarming sign that they have the seizure is coming. So sometimes patients fall during epilepsy attack or seizure attack, or they can injure themselves or they can hurt themselves. So it's good to sit or lie down, so they should not get hurt. So aura is the time during which they have the sensation that epilepsy or seizure attack is coming, and in this aura they have the vertigo or dizziness. Then we have the cervical vertigo. Here, this is the back. These are the cervical vertebra. We have 7 cervical vertebra which are present in the neck. So cervical vertigo may follow injury of neck. If there is injury to neck, after 7 to 10 days, usually it is provoked by movement of neck to the side of injury. So if there is injury to the neck as a result of injury to cervical area of the neck, after 7 to 10 days, usually the patient might feel vertigo or dizziness, especially if they move to the side of the injury. Usually the back is of the cervical vertebra are aligned in a straight line, but as a result of injury, what happened, this alignment is disturbed, and with the disturbance of this alignment, when the patient moves the head, there is pain or vertigo. So that's cervical vertigo. Then we have the ocular vertigo. Ocular vertigo is the mismatch of information from eyes that cause vertigo. So if there is a mismatching of the eyes, if both eyes are not looking in the same direction, this is ocular vertigo, a vertigo that occurs when the eyes are not positioning in the same direction. Usually, this vertigo is known as the ocular vertigo, and usually there is a short period of vertigo or dizziness when you rotate the head of the person and both eyes do not watch or see in the same direction, or if there is mismatch of the information, it can cause ocular vertigo. Then psychogenic vertigo, as the name show, if the patient has psychological problems like emotional tension and anxiety, usually these patients suffer from the vertigo, and this is known as the psychogenic vertigo when there is no other abnormality or pathological cause of vertigo is present, and if the patient has a history of anxiety and tension or depression, this can be labeled as psychogenic vertigo. So that was all about the different causes which can lead to central vestibular disorders. So thank you for watching sqadia.com.